So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you and explaining fully in detail how ExoPanda works. Now, this is for those who are wondering how it works. You might be skeptical before downloading it, or you might have a completely different reason, or you're just curious. But in today's video, I'm going to be showing you fully in general how our system works and whether or not it's safe or not. And if you want to use it, that's fine, completely up to you. But let's just go ahead and get straight into it. Now, before we do get into this, though, I will say this video is only for educational purposes only. I do not intend on teaching you any viable information you can use for negative things, but this is in some ways just how our system operates. So inside of our ExoPanda thing, I'm gonna pull out my little, if I can find it, a little laser pointer here. So we have ExoPanda. So ExoPanda's macros use what's called Roblox memory to interpret data that then our system can use for the macros. This might not be big enough of an answer to the question, which I'll explain more later, but just as you might note, we do not inject code. There's no memory, what's called writing, which is what exploits use. We do not touch physically Roblox at all. The application is completely external, never physically interacts with Roblox, so it is 100% safe, but we do peep at Roblox to get information on, say, where a button is on your screen, things like that. And this is merely just another type of detection. But obviously, curiosity might be making you wonder what exactly is memory reading. Once again, like I said before, we will fully explain that. But to keep it a bit of information on why some people don't use this and why we consider this just to be another form of detection. Now, inside of macros, you have the two main types of detection. Now, normally inside of macro detection, you have OpenCV, which is a form of image recognition. And then you have AI detection, which is a more automated and trainable form of image detection. Now, simply put, OpenCV just allows you to simply train it off of an image, make it know what that image looks like if you're trying to tell your macro what a button is. But the issue is OpenCV only works. So Python being very how it is. So OpenCV, I had to add some arrows, obviously, so you knew what you're looking at. So macro detection uses OpenCV. What this means is essentially this macro uses image detection in order to properly work. There's plenty of issues wrong with image detection and such as that. And simply one of the main things is it being firstly Python means it's going to run slower, but it also means it is kind of a bit of it's not going to be that accurate. Now, on the other side of this, we have AI detection. There's obviously, these are just the two main ones. There's also, I would call them subclasses. You have color detection. You have other ones that are, what's another example? There's some that are like pre-mapped or pre-recorded. This would be things like tiny tasks, etc. So I guess we can go ahead and give these their own category, even though these ones kind of suck. I'm not going to lie. Color detection is super inaccurate. You can't really make anything good with color detection. Pre-recorded tiny task, right? Say the person has a different monitor. They click a button, do something wrong, the setup, it's going to break. Now, AI detection, though, you can use Python ideally is easier, but the best case scenario, you use what's called C++. This is one of the hardest coding languages. It's really good for coding engines, things like applications. Most of our ExoPanda app is also coded in C++. It's a really good coding language for things like that. Python, on the other hand, is just really easy to code in. It's not really good at anything. And then finally, the last or highest form of detection, which is going to be our external memory reading. Now, essentially, the way this works, if you're wondering, we have once again another diagram. If you're wondering, well, what is memory reading? We have something for this. So memory reading, aka RAM, is essentially the process of reading these stored values called hexadecimal, as shown here, inside of your RAM. This might look like gibberish, and it's because it is very confusing. It is also very difficult and very easy to mess up and essentially ruin your computer because you're directly talking to this part of your computer, but we are able to somewhat do it properly. Obviously, there's plenty of ways we can improve it, and we're trying to. It's just a very lengthy process to develop. Now, these memory values, this is, once again, the information stored on your computer locally, can then be translated as things like this. You can use this to calculate or detect values. For example, inside of fish, this is in the aquarium if you didn't recognize it, you can see the exact X and Y pixel size of this box. This also allows you to see the X and Y spot of this box. So if you want to add a feature that goes into here and clicks like the use button on these things, well, guess what? You can just set up some system that is able to detect and find this spot. Then you can obviously program this into your macros. And that is essentially, in a very simplistic way, how memory reading or what memory reading is. If you do want to research it, it is very complicated. Now, though, just in case you somehow missed this, this is exactly what ExoPanda is not. This is what memory reading is not. With, once again, a very quickly put together diagram, what memory reading is not, with big 2 exclamation points, memory modification. Memory modification is essentially you have your stored value, say you have 100 coins, and you tell your computer to change that value to 101 coins, and now your game thinks you have 101 coins. This is what memory modification essentially is. This is what is considered to be an external cheat, where it essentially tells the stored value of your computer to change, and then therefore it sends that changed value back to Roblox or your app that's currently running, and then boom, now you have that changed value. For example, if I'm inside of this game right here, Jujitsu Shenanigans, I have 672 of this currency. Now, I could use memory writing to say I have 673. Now, obviously, I'm assuming they have some form of anti-cheat, but essentially what would then happen is then they would say, and the game would think, I now have that much. This is what memory writing is, or memory modification. It is also not injecting or exploiting Roblox. A common scenario is you assume just because it's good, it means it's an exploit. This is absolute garbage. Also, I'm sorry for the background noise. I'm recording this in Jujitsu Shenanigans, and there's a huge fight going on over there. I'll probably maybe make other recordings in a more quieter zone. But memory or injecting or exploiting, we, especially at ExoPanda, do not inject or exploit Roblox. There is no injecting code into Roblox, which is essentially custom exploits and hacks for games, like in Jujitsu Shenanigans. There's a ton of really annoying hacks going around where people can do a ton of stupid stuff like teleporting around, spamming moves. That is very annoying, and that is exploiting. These are custom hacks designed to bypass anti-cheats specifically for games. We do not inject code, and it is not exploiting. ExoPanda does not inject, write, or modify Roblox ever, and we will never. A common example of this is some exploits very commonly simply just don't really seem to do anything on the outside, right? It could be a simple thing, but internally they're actually writing code to Roblox or pulling data on your own account to steal it or whatever. All our system actually does is externally sees what's happening on Roblox, for example, where a button is, and is fully, completely safe. Externally, we've designed a system to say if there's a button on the screen to click, it will physically move your mouse there and click that button. It is not a hack that's going to make that button be clicked by teleporting some function or doing some exploit or making the app open something. It's never going to do any of this. Everything will be done completely with user discretion, and it is a completely safe external application. Now, if you do have any other questions about our system, you can comment down below, or you can join our Discord server, which is also linked in the description. We'll also have a blog post tagged in the description as well. You can go ahead and read more information on our systems, but for the most part, that is it for this video. Make sure to subscribe and turn on bell notifications if you want more updates like this, and thank you so much for watching.